We're back with This Week in AI. This week we're going to talk about Meta's new glasses, Orion, and what that means from an AI point of view and the future of interfaces in there. So we're going to talk about the changes at OpenAI, what's been happening there, what that implications are, and really go a bit deeper on how they're going to make money and are they going to make money.
What's happening? How's it going?
Yeah, good. It's been a busy couple of weeks. Lots happening. Have you checked out the new Meta glasses?
I haven't checked it out. You want to tell me a little bit about it?
So look, Meta announced their latest, I guess, AR glasses. We've talked previously about their Ray-Ban glasses. It's that next level of what that looks like. Looks more closer to glasses, but still a bit dorky. And yeah, I guess they're doing this big push in terms of AR and what that means from the next level of how we'll interact with maybe not a phone, maybe not a computer, something in between. And so it's a prototype. That's to be clear. They did want to release this as a product, but I think cost-wise, and what we've seen with Apple's Apple Vision Pro, the cost of doing this is not cheap. And so I think they're going, look, it's a challenging project. It's to show where they could go. And so the real key features is really it allows you to look wearing these glasses, not a whole headset like they previously had, allows you to interact with it, and the lenses are made from this sort of silicon carbide, so offers what they say is excellent properties for looking at things across. And so I think it's a pretty interesting hardware from the point of view of it's still chunky, but not a something that is like that Apple Vision Pro. So I think it's more I guess usable. Reminds me a little bit when, once again, I go back in time to Google Glass, and is this, Meta's version of that next sort of level of that. But I think there's some really interesting things that they have within there. So some advanced chips, allows you to interact, in different ways. And so I think they have this sort of key algorithms. I think it's called SLAM, which stands for simultaneous localization and mapping, where it uses very little power. And so the chips allow you to do all these things. So look, is this a future way where they're going? I think it's really interesting that Meta are innovating. We're seeing that with their LLMs and what they're doing. And from an AI point of view, in the context of what we're seeing is, using that hand tracking to be able to use, what's happening in there. So there is this potential new interface, and you've talked about this many times as well, whether that be a computer, a phone, or something in between. And I think is that going to be it? I think the chips that they have, it might not be this as the form factor, but I do think the fact that they're developing these chips, the AI, powered and efficient, to me, it's quite interesting to see, see what's happening there. But I'd love you to get your take on whether you think this kind of interface would work.
I think there's a few interesting questions here. So the first question is, why the hell is Meta doing it? And it's not clear.
I can tell you why. I think that they're doing it. They spend a lot of money on the metaverse, right? They spend billions on that. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So they have this bonfire of cash that's called the metaverse, and it just in throwing a lot of money at that and hoping that one day something will come out of it. Makes you feel a bit queasy. It always when like, do they know something I don't? Or do they have like some amazingly deep strategic insight into the future that I can't see? And the answer seems to always be not really. It's a bit of gambling. It's a bit of competition with others. There's like there was a trend around AI and VR, and it felt cool, and a bunch of people thought that would be the future. So maybe it's the future, but it's kind of far. It's like it's the way in which I think it's like you think about the days of PC just started. And people would start, if someone in the day of a PC, okay, when a computer is this big in your desktop, it's like it weighs 20 kilos, and someone would tell you about the future is going to be mobile. And you go, well, maybe it makes sense. It's kind of a theoretical question. But if someone in the 90s would start putting $120 billion into building mobile, it would be insane. They're like ahead of themselves. But yeah, still, mobile came, but it doesn't happen by Y company forging ahead. You need a whole ecosystem, component developers, applications, software, the back servers, etc. It's like a new computing platform is rarely the work of one of the giants. It's typically come from the bottom. Microsoft was super small when they took over the mainframe and the personal computer business of of IBM, etc. So it makes you question whether it's feasible to that Zuckerberg by himself will unleash a new era of computing. I don't know. That's question number one I've got. Question number two I've got is no one really talks about the use case here. So even something like Gen AI, which is like phenomenal and transformative, and we can't stop singing about it. The truth of the matter is that in terms of the broad impact in society, it found two use cases, which is marketing and development. Now, we believe that there will be many other use cases, etc. But in terms of mainstream adoptions right now, okay, we're 2 years into this cycle. The main actual, landing spots for this new technology in the real world, where total developers use it, it's phenomenal, and then marketing for sure. What's the use case here that they are coming up with? It doesn't feel fully baked yet. So I'm really impressed with the technology. I think that we have a few other more interesting chapters ahead of us. This is not the next big thing, right? This has been the next big thing for a bunch of years. It's like driving cars. Been the next big thing for like a decade and a bit, and it's going to be in the background while other things are becoming more interesting and more real. What's your take? What do you think?
Yeah, look, I think it's an interesting experiment. I think, look, credit to Meta from the point of view is I think they are innovating in the AI space.
Are they really?
No, in terms of their open source models, I think they're doing some.
That's not innovation. That's more like a competitive. It's a counter-competitive move. It's it's like you make a product, I give it away for free.
Well, yeah, we'll have to see what their open source models do. But what I'm saying is they're trying things. I think it's good that they're trying. I do think people are searching now that we'll have voice with being able to interact. I think people are looking for a new way to use these technologies. And I think with that vision, rather than having a phone all the time, look, I don't know what the use cases are exactly. I think that's, and like I say, I played with Google Glass many years ago, and it feels like we're back to that where you are still trying to find out how you'd use it. And it is a bit weird. And you are like, if you look at the actual glasses, you look a bit dorky about it. It's kind of in the same dorkiness as the Google Glass that it's still going to look weird. So I think when the form factor's actually like you won't know, so you still know, and it's cost par with a phone, then I think that might be the type.
No, I don't know. It's not about the money. Like the VR, I've got a VR headset here by Meta. I even forgot its name, how much I don't use it. What is it?
Quest. I got a Quest 2. That's quite funny. I got one in the corner as well. So yeah.
Exactly. The use case is that you sit in the living room. The Quest's use case is that you have to sit in your room with some space around you, and then it's nice, it's fun. You do something fun for half an hour. It doesn't matter what you do. That's pretty much what it is. It has to be in your home, in a safe environment, and it's about half an hour. Otherwise, it's annoying and heavy and sweaty and disoriented. So what categories of activities go into that?
I don't know what you're doing with yours to be all sweaty. And anyway, that's a topic, yeah.
So what category of activities go into that? So at least you can give credit to Apple. When they launched it, they said, well, sure, you can do general purpose stuff, but the truth is that it's for entertainment. So they're going to make it really good for movies and games. And then you think, well, that's a use case that, it's the product market. Is it a product market fit or no? We talk a lot about product market fits in our business, right? And it doesn't look like it is, frankly, because Apple doesn't have a gaming and gaming business, but they do have Apple, movies and Apple shows and whatever the channel. So what is Zuckerberg doing? What is the use case he's going for here? Where's the product market fit he's landing with? And the answer is like weird. I just don't buy it yet. I buy it in abstract, and I'm open to it. I'm not a naysayer on this thing. I just don't see it yet. Because anyone see something yet? That's what I'm asking. So the idea is that I walk in the shopping mall and I see a product and I see how much does it cost, and like on the product in the shopping mall. That's not, in my opinion, a use case.
Yeah. So same sort of use cases they have now, same as we had. So I do agree. I do think it's interesting though, the form factor. The other big news for me in this is what has been announced with OpenAI and Johnny Ives. So Johnny Ives, who was a former designer of the iPhone and worked with Apple, is talk about a collaboration with OpenAI. And I think that, I wonder what that will look like. And that could be that next thing as well. So look, I think the interesting news with all this is there's a new form factor coming, whether that be now, 5 years, 10 years. But I think for early adopters, I don't think Apple Vision Pro will be, is not necessarily going to be the thing. And I don't know that this will be. And they're not marketing it as a product, but I think it's a good sort of experiment.
It's definitely a thing to keep an eye on. 100%. And I'm with you. The wild card here is the Johnny Ive app, OpenAI, which is a great segue to what I liked this last week. There's been some serious saga going on in OpenAI, hasn't there been?
Yep, last man standing.
Elon Musk is sharing this little joke. Sam Altman is Littlefinger. Check this out.
That was what, a year and a bit ago?
No, this is 4 days ago.
No, when I say that, I mean in terms of the photos, we've lost all of those.
Oh yes, we keep losing we keep losing the. I mean, there's some dark parallels between this and Hezbollah, right? We keep losing the people at the top. So I don't know if Sam Altman, what's going on, but Elon Musk is having a good time from this whole thing. I think the bottom line is this: OpenAI is very stuck. It's stuck because it really truly is currently the magnet in the industry for the talent in advanced AI technology. So that is the one thing they managed to do. Okay, so they managed to become the place where all the top talent in a space is concentrated. And that, when you have the top talent in a space, there's a lot of leverage you can do because you move faster. Arguably, you have a better technology, etc. People want to work for you. It's what eventually why Google superseded Microsoft. Microsoft was big and they had all the smarts in the world, and then a search engine came and destroyed it. Okay, not didn't destroy them, but almost destroy their dominance, their relative dominance. Okay, so OpenAI is that magnet. But the story they told in order to become that magnet is what we will be open. We are about AI safety, super intelligence, and AGI is humanity transforming technologies. Everybody, all the nerds who read science fiction were like, sure, I want to go work there. Okay, guess what? If you look at these guys who came to work there, they still want a salary. They want someone to pay them once a month. Because guess what? They live in the world. And in the world, you need to buy groceries and pay rent. So OpenAI are finding themselves in this funny place where they want to make the world AI and something, but they also, need to pay salaries. Okay, so they're going to start making products. Oh, wait, guess what? Once you start making products, the product needs to make money. Guess what? That's called a business. So OpenAI finds itself rewriting its whole story from this thing that was so attractive to all the geeks to like, okay, we are business. Now, I think what's happened is the truth of the matter is that no one could tell them, no one saw in advance that there will be 5 billion. If I told you 2 or 3 years ago that OpenAI will be this kind of technology that will also be $5 billion in negative because of running costs, people go like, well, I don't understand it. Why are you talking about? Well, it turns out that's what the reality is. That's what they built. Okay, phenomenal. But once you are in this reality, how do you pay all the salaries? Okay, so someone had to do the super difficult task of converting that thing to a for-profit business that can be, at least, again, there's not evil. The people need to be paid salaries. Yes, sure. The capitalists wants their money back as well. Sure. But bottom line, you also have to have you have a negative 5 billion. Who's going to pay for it? Taxpayers' money? So anyway, so I don't think becoming open is evil. Becoming business is anything evil. It's silly to say so. It's just reality. We live in the reality of the world. Anyway, guess what happened during that period? All the good souls of the brain drain. Now, will they survive the brain drain? What do you think?
Yeah, good question. And I mean, can they switch to? Is it right to switch from a non-profit to a profitable organization?
It's right or wrong. What? Because Elon Musk is pissed off by that.
No. But I do think it's like they have a dilemma. I think there's something not right. Obviously, that doesn't happen in a company where everyone's aligned with what's happening there.
Yeah, but that's like one in history. That doesn't happen a lot. You know what I mean? Like it's not like, oh, they tricked us like all these other guys.
Yeah, but there's this massive opportunity for each one of those really smart people. And when you see who was it that started it? Which of the guys? Ilya raised that money with a one-page website.
I love him, and if I had a billion to give him, I will. But
I think that's classic old school, the way he raised $1 billion with a one-page website that's all text. That's not even like, this is what we're doing.
it's not crypto nonsense. It's people who are truly believing that AI is so transformative that it will alter the course of the human race, and that like it's credible arguments. Those are not nonsense.
But I agree with that argument. I agree with that argument 100%, which is why we're doing what we're doing, that this technology is changing the way we live and work and will interact.
Yeah, no, Yash, they're talking about super intelligence kill all humans.
Well, that's also a option. Hopefully not the preferred
Okay.
option. No, but I do think that's why this is important. I think that's why there's something going on there that, we're not under the hood. I mean, the big thing for me as well is, a valuation of 150 billion. Is that right and fair? I mean, we had talks about whether we had options to be part of that. I don't know that it can. The business model is still not worked out how they're gonna. They've got a lot. Definitely, it is the company that has had more traction than any other company in the recent history. Right? It's there's something there, but it's making this work from a profitability point of view, but also they are the people. That's what that's what they say. So if the people are going, there's a bit of an issue. So I think this could be an issue. I think it's also depends on what some of their competitors start to do, and it depends on what people like Google and Anthropic and some of the other players do to keep evolving. And I think Google do have an advantage to be that place where people are already using it. I don't think they're quite there yet. I do think OpenAI have some great products, but I also see there are other competitors, and there's something not right. I don't know what
Speaking about not right, two more thoughts. So maybe one more thought. So we looked at the opportunity to invest in OpenAI, and we said my position was, look, if it was my money, not money I manage, I would maybe throw in a bit, but given it's money I manage, I'm not comfortable with the degree of due diligence you can do. This is such a arm's length, secondary, tertiary transaction that you just have to rely on what you read in the news media. You're not going to get an insight into the books of the book to make an investment. So if someone is selling now and they're closer to the business than me, then I don't want to be the sucker who's buying it. That's kind of how it felt. And absent the ability to actually do proper due diligence, then I personally said, no, I wouldn't invest in it. It does look like a little bit the ship is sinking. Why would you invest now? I don't see it. It wasn't the meteoric rise time. It was the shitty news period. That's point number one. Point number two, so it was purely a fiduciary question. Like personally, if maybe I would do something else. Point number two, it could be that we're seeing peak Gen AI, right? I'm not saying we are, but it could be. And here's that argument. Here's that thesis. The thesis is that when this thing started, which is probably 2 years ago, November 22, right? Was that November 22? Suddenly the idea that you can talk to a chat, like what the hell was that? That was like mind blowing, right? Remember that period? Remember those weeks? I actually lost sleep from how excited I was. Okay, the dust settled a little bit. We understand Gen AI now. Sure, people start seeing like the trajectory of where it's going. Back then, no one see where it was going. It was like, what the hell? This can transform everything in a second. Now people can see where it's going. And guess what? Where is it going? It's going to be in every piece of every text box in the computer, in the internet will have some Gen AI behind it. Guess what? Who's owning all those text boxes? Okay, Google has a bunch, Microsoft has a bunch, Apple has a bunch. Once you start seeing how Apple industrializes the technology, it implements it into all their products, you can start see where this is heading, which is nowhere you could see 2 years ago, right? So there's an argument, credible argument out there that I think is worth considering, which is that thing that just happens to OpenAI when they said, guys, we can't keep playing this game. We need to become a business. A bunch of people are leaving, and then all the other big boys having PowerPoints and PowerPoints of product roadmaps of implementing Gen AI. I think that can also tell you that the technology is now well understood by so many people that you can start seeing the way things are shifting, meaning that there's not going to be huge new surprises any in the next upcoming, but we did arrive to the plateau of productivity, right? Remember the hype cycle? You get peak expectation, trough of disillusionment, and then plateau of productivity. What do you think?
I'm going to disagree with you just because I don't think we know where we're fully going. I think we understand some use cases of where we're going. I think there's more and more features that keep coming out. If you look at that latest OpenAI model, we didn't know that whole chain of thought thinking was going to be in there and showing how.
Oh, chain of thought was on the books for a year and a half. Like I've seen the first chain of thought people do it manually on Twitter. The question is when they're going to bake it into the actual model.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is that I feel like there's evolution of what's happening is we get glimpses. I think we know. I don't think it's all worked out. That's I guess I think one of the interesting things for me is how are people going to monetize this, right? We're at this stage that people are doing a lot of things and people are throwing a lot of money, and we see a lot of talk about there's heaps of money going in, but there's not a lot of returns coming out of it yet. And we've said the word yet quite a few times. So my big question is OpenAI the Yahoo, or is OpenAI going to be the Google of this time? And
that's a great question.
That is to me, the number one thing here is it too early? And are there other players? And I think that's why I also like what we're doing. It's still early. And so I feel like it's not all worked out. And I think we need to everyone needs to be on this course, but also careful thinking about where we're going. And there will be some clear winners. Yeah. So, but I guess what I'm saying is it's still early. I still think this is the place to be investing in, but I also think it's hard. And I think there's still a long way to play out. So the question for me with OpenAI as well is, what are the competitors going to keep on doing? And I still think we're a few years away from seeing where this will end up. I think they've got definite traction though, and they've got that network effect happening with what they're doing. And to me, the question is, can other people come in different ways to really, I guess, commercialize it and make money out of it ahead of where they will? And they've obviously put a lot of investment into it, and they've got I think they do have a great product, and they've driven this race. I think
the fundamental difference was that in the day of Google, the argument was we're going to make this product free, but we're going to make money from the advertising. Okay, but the unit economic of that thing makes like solid, but like financially speaking, the cost of query and navigation was marginal, and the revenue that you could do from those ads were sufficient to gives you an unbelievable economic engine. Okay, the cost of inference and training in OpenAI are arguably through the roof compared to the Google cost. Sure, Google had a lot of infrastructure investments, etc., but OpenAI has, so there's no benefit there. It's just that AI is expensive. That's the cost. And if you think about it, it's a little bit like look at us, look our brain. Like 40% of the energy of our body is just the brain, right? So there's to say that energy that intelligence requires a lot of energy is like scientifically solid argument, right? And you just like it makes sense. So the question, I mean, what is OpenAI? OpenAI from day one had to monetize their product, couldn't give it for free. Okay, and so that's like this kind of break on. It's like a fundamental difference in the way disruptive innovation worked in the age of just internet and queries, and versus intelligence. The marginal cost per user action is just massively different. I think it's a super interesting point and super interesting drama that unfolds.
So who makes the money? I want to finish on that. Who makes the money?
NVIDIA.
That's right now. So who else makes the money as we progress? And is
no one. Right now, everybody's on loss. Right now, everyone in AI is on loss. Of course, I'm talking about like the little guys. I'm talking about the big guys. I talk about like structurally at the app level, at the value chain, at the app level. Yeah, there are going to be some apps that people buy, and if they're clever, they have to charge more than their costs. and that's not the freemium web model that we used to be used to. That's a new model of business model. People are paying, actually. People are paying to start to try advanced AI products, as opposed to the web, which was started for free, and hopefully I convert you some time ago later.